So I think we all deserve lunch now. And so the room is quite small, so our suggestion is that we'll take plates and we can sit on our chairs. People who like to be on the table for eating, it may be more convenient for some of you. That is possible for some of us. We'll place some paper napkins, we have paper rolls. Otherwise, if you are comfortable sitting on your chair for eating, that's also an option. Thank you.
The program is based on the 3 donations that we can sponsor this program regularly every year or every 2 years. So we have some donation box, and just if you are inspired, you can give your donation in the box near to the kitchen, and then in this way we can sponsor our next program and make a saving for the next program with the donations you are kindly giving from your heart. Thank you very much. And if you want also, those who want to give their email address and name, you can put on the paper there on the table. And then like this, we can keep contact and send you more information with our activities with the Bhaktivedanta Institute in India, our congresses with all Indian students, all European students, and all scientists who wants to have more connection with the development of science and spiritual quest. So we have our paper here with the email, name, and you're welcome to give your contact. Like this, we can send you more information in the future. I wish you good appetite. Have a nice afternoon also. Thank you.
For the beginning, I would pay a special dedication, a great love to the Nikola Tesla, whom I studied for a long time, and that introduced me to Swami Vivekananda, that introduced me in later discoveries regarding to the Vedic science of Sankhya and some other sciences. So the Secret of Sankhya is composed by Sri Srinivasan, and it's Asian science that you can find on the kapillavastu.com in the full value. So the topics I'm going to cover in this presentation is following. Everything is vibration, and the Sankhya is the science that study the vibrations that have some frequency and some numbers that goes in 2 modes, simultaneous and sequential kind of mode. Sanskrit language is the language that we're going to see is basically a code, and those code has a numerical values. Then the definition of universe, then Sutra 1, simultaneous and sequential mode is the scientifically unification with spirituality with a very logical and simple way. Sutra 3 is the basis where all other knowledge is expanding from Sutra 1 and Sutra 3. Then we're going to see some more about Purusha as a source, as a spirit of the world, Moolaprakriti as the smallest value of Purusha, and those values expanding to Mahad, intelligence, that create the Prakrithi or nucleus, and electron, neutrino, photon. That's the whole structure or components that create the physical world. Sutra 52 describing the linga bhava, that's simultaneous and sequential change that are mutually independent. Then we will come to the factor of unification as 2 and 3 axis balances that make differences in our reality, like 2 balances cover the air and water molecules with the flexible center of the mass, while the 3 axis synchronizes are all dense objects like we see around us. And we will see as a formula and as a proof, and CD or meditation meditation program that also unite the science and spirituality by simultaneous and sequential processes. So the Sankhya is holistic theory that cover all areas from science, from life sciences, organic, inorganic, cosmic sciences, living processes, chemistry, physics, and everything is connected or everything is vibration. It's composed by Maharishi Kapilla, and its 68 sutras forms a core of Bhagavad Gita that Krishna mentioned in that scripture. Everything is based on vibration counting and starts from the very first interaction. So our modern physics is based on the starting from the middle of the whole story, but the Sankhya is going from the first, very first interaction to the synchronization back to that primary state, and it do everything with perfect accuracy. Provide so it is holistic science, provide a scientific base of the Vedas according to the Vivekananda. It's eternally valid and cannot be disapproved because everything is based on math that you will see in the later part. It covers an entire space of manifestation, both visible and hidden. That is so. Vibration, only vibration can be detected. So all forms are collective states of this vibration. Vibration is the same as stress or interaction or collision, oscillation. That is information or intelligence or real event. If there's no vibration, there's no event, no detection. And we as a one cannot detect nothing. So vibrations are caused by elemental components in interactive state of colliding and separating. So, and vibration, that's colliding and separating are two natural duality as dark and light. So the vibration occur only in 3 modes. That's Thama, Raja, Sattva mode. So the language of Sanskrit means refined, cold. Sama means equalized, and Krit means cut, clip, divided, pulse, or chord. So in reality, every language is basically a code, and every code has a numerical and sequential value that explain much deeper than only without codes. And all Vedic knowledge have those codes inherent in that text. So when you read Rig Veda or some other text, you will not explain, you will not know what they talk about, because there is the explanation of the codes and putting them into interrelationships to get the whole picture is something that is missing in studying the real Vedic scripture value and meanings. So the understanding of the universal process is only through cold language or mathematics. So The word Sankhya is generally axiomatic definition of the universe. So, according to Sri Srinivasan, the author of Sankhya, is Sa means 5, Ka means 2 as a numbers, and Nk is conjunction or that connect the two. So that's the values he got from only those two numbers. So he put those two numbers and then he explained in details what he can get about with these two numbers. And you can see what he got. And the table on the top, you see that mass of the universe is plus 5,2. On the 5,2 with 52 zeros. And when you subtract universal 1 as a one wholeness minus 52, you get Moolaprakriti, the smallest interactive component of Purusha that covered the sattva, and the Raja that is resonant and the bridge and connection between two natural dualities. So the first sutra covers the dynamic substratum. Investigating the triad of interactive stresses confirmed that such interactive modes of stresses exist, but it would have not been detectable had it not been for the existence of coherent, perpetual, dynamic, and manifested state of existence of the substratum. So the triad of interactive stresses is normally related on three gunas on all levels, not on the human stress as was translated. Sri Srinivasan gives a full resolution of the numbers that are lied behind the text. So every collision have three complementary phases as everything that is in connection. Instant collision, resonant period of reversion, and sequential period of separation when those two separate. So on a physical level, Thama is strong nuclear decelerating force acting inward, forming a nuclear center and nuclear boundary. Raja is electroweak bonding force, shuttles out inward and outward to transfer forces from nuclear center to the nuclear boundary and vice versa. Sattva is electromagnetic radiating force that goes out of the nuclear boundary. So the same laws apply in evaluating galaxies, sun, planets, protons, electrons. So from macro to micro is the same. So the manifestation is self-seminal and scale invariant. When we take the C, that's the standard rate of oscillation in space, or ether, or substratum, and when we took a golden ratio, then the cyclic change in time is like C 1 plus golden ratio. That's the only and one way how the gunas operate in reality. So the next investigation regarding to the first sutra, the four qualities of space are coherent, resonant, expansive. The coherence is tamastic, resonant, rajastic, and atto expansive or sattvic. So the unmanifested space is always oscillating at the rate c, or ether, which is the same value as speed of light. Those are perpetual harmonic oscillation, and it's perfectly symmetric, stable base. And when coherence of that rate is broken, then true value C, that is perpetual harmonic oscillator, create all possible phenomena. As the rate C is always increased, any transmigration of the stress has a higher rate. And rate C is in fact the ocean of identical components of stratum, ether, akasha, Shiva, Linga, Brahmananda. There are many numerous names for the same thing that is static and from which all matter evolve. The key point and concept in Sankhya that unites all equations and everything in one simple way is simultaneous and sequential mode. So if the 10 people clap one after another or sequentially, then the 10 claps can be counted as 10 events in time. So, but if the 10 claps occur simultaneously, only one clap could be counted. So 9 claps vanish and become undetectable, but directly increase the parameter as mass, intensity, or density, which are practically the same thing. So the three guna concept combine both modes. So everything is due to conversion of simultaneous to sequential. So for example, our mind works in a simultaneous mode, then our reaction is in time. So then those are also mass to energy conversions. So it's not so used in physics, but it's cornerstone in Sankhya, and explain all anomalies in physics, including gravity, the change of mass into energy, clarifies nuclear physics, and unite all sciences together with spirituality. So, here are examples of the simultaneous mode. Synchronized, coherent, no time, because no distance between the counts. Equal, unmanifested, detectable, instant. It's a mass characteristic, static, black hole state, scalar, or longitudinal, what Goran was mentioning. Cause, linga, abhikam as self-potential, or karma, we can say karma too, and meditation. So the sequential mode is totally opposite, not synchronized, radiant, in time, unequal distances between the count, manifested relative energy, movement, fractals, effect. It's also causality principle, cause and effect. So linga, magnetic to electric, abhikam, self-potential, or karma to the self-action. As well, meditation processes when we stop the thinking process that is happening during the time, to stop and to enter into coherent or simultaneous mode, then all the things exist in parallel mode. So we can extract the free energy and got all information and scientifically enter to our spiritual reality. So the conversion are like this. There are 8 practically counts, because interaction between 3 in 3 axes is 8. Then because the first interaction or first unit is always within the ether value, there are 7 important sequential values or harmonic level that are present in nuclear spectrum, electron, neutrino spectrum. And we can see them as a light, sound, chakras, and much more. Sutra 3 defining the Moolaprakriti and Mahad cosmic intelligence that leads to nuclear spectrum, electrino photon spectrum. With this we got all the information regarding to the main values that Sankhya classifies and gave and calculate a value of mass and some other values. Purusha, including all sentient life, is source of all phenomena, maximum potential, and it's a sum of all coherent activity. We all exist simultaneously, but interaction between us are in time. So it's absorber of the energy, and Purusha 1, 2, 7, totaling 10 as eternal interactive cycles, and mass of Purusha is, as you can see, new to the physics. The smallest interactive unit of Purusha is Moolaprakriti. There are 10 on the 50 Moolaprakriti interacting simultaneously in Purusha states. So it's smallest possible time change and smallest possible activity. So it forms its accurate unit for the universal accounting process, because it's covered the sattva expansion and all phenomena. And the value, as you can see, and the whole values in Sankhya are divisible by this value. And it unites everything together, from Purusha, Mahad, intelligence, nucleus, electron, neutrino, and photons. Mahad is the expansion of the Purusha. It's universal intelligence or Planck mass in physics, and Purusha enable a spectacular change to Mahad that we'll see in formula in later part. It's a merged dense black hole state, density and peak. It's mass of quark. It's a quark state in physics, and this is the value. It's a very high density change, and those change create by creating a nuclear change, and that value is interacting in simultaneous mode. As we can see, the Prakrithi, Mahad Prakriti, is nature nucleus or hadronic state, and Purusha and Moolaprakriti together with Mahad create the nucleus. So the Prakrithi and Mahad are two sides of the same coin, interacting simultaneously, and according to Kapilla, all manifestation is due to communications, nuclear center and nuclear boundary. And it's, as we know all, that nucleus is fundamental in forming a manifestation phenomena, and it's created by synchronization on the three axes. And it's a holder and container of the power, the same as we see as sun radiate the energy from. And there are 7 coherent levels in the nucleus. So it's triggered by 3 gunas, and when PM nucleus as a whole expands, it reduces to proton, and when it contracts, it increases to neutron. And those are the values which are very similar to the physics. And Mahad Prakriti nucleus as a whole is the most important thing that transfer itself to the neutron and proton. So there is proof that Moolaprakriti and Purusha together with Mahad create the nuclear state. So the kx and Moolaprakriti value we saw, and px value is a constant that is transfer simultaneously to sequential state. So this is the atom, molecule, cell, organ, plant, living being, planet, sun, solar, galaxy, cluster of galaxy. Everything is torus, and it has the toroidal flow of energy and form. And when we look above, we see the fractal Fibonacci sequence that has a golden ratio inside. So this is our body and soul, how it governs the body. So interaction between the souls or manifested beings, this is a golden ratio and is in nature. Just the natural multiplication of the values provide the perfect, magnificent picture and beauty of nature. And micro and micro are on the same law integrated. So the nuclear center has the smallest, biggest mass and the smallest rate of interaction. So the center of Earth vibrate 1 hour and 45 minutes as a contraction and expansion. So everything above is on the higher rate of vibration, and it's naturally transmigate or gravitate to the strong and nuclear centers, and that's gravitation. And it's the same principle from the atom to the galaxy and to the Earth and solar system. So due to law of synchronization, everything is going to synchronize, and all the manifestation is due to reduction of the count. And so there is like superposing and joining of huge accumulations that are compressed in the nuclear centers, and they synchronize on the very low frequency, and that's the source of gravitation. Sutra 52, the polarization of the phenomena into coherent potential and kinetic potential energy modes. So the coherent potential cannot exist without synchronized phase. So whatever we do is superposed on the nucleus, and that increases our coherent potential. That's interplay or causality process between cause and effect. So, for example, the mass with the simultaneous count that there is transformed to the sequential or energy, that energy is also again accumulating on the simultaneously code that again increase the density of the or mass that is also potential. So it's also integration between science and spirituality, because our karma is the same thing. We do whatever we do, it's everything is copies, and it's increase our potential that is in coherent form, and then we again convert into sequential or manifested form. So the nucleus cause electron or interactive harmonic states that is in between nuclear center and boundary, and every time Vikrithi produced, Mahad intelligence is also produced, and it's also the same, two sides of the same coin. It's momentary harmonized with other states. It's go out of the nucleus. We know that positive or negative ions are the number of free electrons, and its nucleus is radiating those elements. So The 3 electrons are counterparts of 3 nuclear states that we saw. So neutron, proton, and PM has some counterparts as 3 electrons that always try to reach a balance with the nuclear states. So, and neutrino vortex is radiating from nucleus. It's freely moving expansion and acceleration process that transmigate in 2 ways: tunneling and instantly. The transfer, it's a transfer of energy, information, and potential. So the all information between all parts of the body, that matrix, what professor showed us, is between neutrino. So when we think about something, we radiate neutrino streams that come to the interaction with the other person. That's the explanation by Matt of all pseudoscience and parapsychology phenomena. So everything is a stream of the neutrino, and they also stabilize the manifestation and nucleus, and they polarize according to the Guna laws. And there is also a 7 spectrum of levels of synchronization, and so the nuclear states create 2 phases: invisible neutrinos and visible light photons. So the photon is 7 neutrino. It's Planck constant in physics. When 7 neutrinos are triggered simultaneously, it's a quantum of self-sustaining interactive stress, transmigrated constant oscillatory rate. It's a vortex of Moolaprakriti quanta. Many quanta transmigrate simultaneously, and you see the value. And very important is photon mass decay in 10^17 cycles per second in physics, and that forms the radius of the universe. Your universe is not merged. According to Sankhya, universe is not even expanding. Our universe is the way and distance we can catch by photons. Out of that, when photon decay and come back and synchronize back to the ether or substratum, and then it's visible. It doesn't exist for us. The ether or substratum, and then it's visible. It doesn't exist for us. It's out of our detection. So that's the principle how a photon is radiated. And the synchrony on 2 and 3 axes. 2 axis balance create flexible center of the mass as water and air in molecular field, and electromagnetic states as electron, neutrino, and photon in fundamental field. And 3 axis creates the solid phase or particles with the fixed center of the mass, or coherent nuclear states as atom, molecule, cells, living beings, trees, plants. Everything is a synchronization between 3 axes. So, for example, electron or the Earth is synchronization of the 3 axes, but is synchronized with the 2 axes to the sun. And it's always going to catch the synchrony with the sun. So as electron is reactive phase of the nuclear state or in the center, then it is logical that the Earth became from the sun, and the Earth is just a reactive phase of the sun. So the sun is the source and have much greater impact than we can think. So vanishing of C2 explain the cause in all differences, including mass, energy, charge, potential, and so on. Solid, liquid, vapor. So Vapor as clouds is when the synchron is lost on all axes. When the water molecules synchronize on two axes, we have liquid, and when due to low temperature synchronized on three axes, we have solid with the fixed or ice with the fixed center of the mass. So there is a formula of Purusha state, and you see that it's due to that's compressive and expansive levels of three guna state in balance that expand to Moolaprakriti. Then the first expansion is Mahad. Then all three together create nuclear state, then proton, neutron, and you see that the basis of everything is Purusha. Purusha is expanding to Prakrithi, or that's the scientific evidence that a spirit expands to the Prakrithi. And there are missing a few things. There are also the electron neutrino photon spectrum also has a Purusha Kx value. So the integration of intra-universal manifestation is you see the Kx is a value of Purusha, and those interfaces as a proof, like Purusha to Mahad, Moolaprakriti as a part of Purusha, Mahad, Purusha, and rate C interface, and all those values are in different relations to each other that prove that the Sankhya values are 100% correct. And those values also confirm all I say that with the simple math they equalize the numbers that are in 9 to 50 decimals. So you see, just to pass briefly, spectrum of 7 levels in the middle as a proof on all levels, and hidden dark mass and hidden dark energy as a explanation from the Sankhya values that created and solved all anomalies and problems in Western science. So that's a topology of the particle physics from the Sankhya point of view, proof of self-similarity, scale invariance, and symmetry, and the city that is meditative system that when once you renounce initiative to think, and when mind stop, the sequential thinking process converts into coherent state of existence. Then we can grasp 343 sets of information simultaneously while providing an intellectual conclusions and analyzing them, everything in simultaneous mode, not one by one. It's a perfectly rational, logical thinking process that can be applied to everything. And then the concept of creator and reality dissolve to each other. And the conclusion that science and spirituality unification is through simple logic and mathematics, that Sankhya provide by numbers that it's theory of everything, and the manifestation is very embodiment of spirituality. And also that coherent state contains all the power of the universe because they create everything. That dynamism is opportunity to extract free energy and with the highest efficiency, and Moolaprakriti create everything. So all phenomena is due to reduction of interactive cones, and component in space practically cannot travel or rotate, but only stresses can transmigrate by interactions. And to the very end, there is no such thing as uncertainty in the state of universe, and oneness is material, and spiritual supremacy is just two complementary aspects, while soul, God, nature played together as one eternal witness of infinite bliss and absolute love. And all blessings flows to great Sri Srinivasan, who decoded such a great knowledge. Thanks for patience.
Do we have any questions? Okay. So I suggest one thing, that before asking your question, you can just maybe mention your name, and if possible, just in 2 words, your background, in case you are in the field of science or spirituality. Okay, I'm coming this way.
Question?
Yes.
What is the axiomatic cycle?
Axiomatic cycle, with every vibration, there are 10 guna vector oscillations. So the gunas are forces with some direction. So that's like tensor or vector forces. They can go in one direction, they can go in opposite direction, they can go compressively, expandively. So those 10 are 10 possible directions of the guna, and due to every vibration, there are 10 additional oscillations in 0 time that provide the result of that oscillation. And that's hidden in every vibration. So it's out of our detection, and we cannot detect something which is simultaneous, because the time factor is crucial to detection by senses. So that's an axiomatic cycle in every vibration. As we know that everything is interaction or vibration, this creates a crucial number 2 in the whole story.
Okay, thank you. Next question over there.
Yeah, my name is Ms. Kajuria, and I'm an Master's in Operational Therapy from Mumbai. So my question is, you have explained in your chart about the photons, neutrons, and all the possible electrons which are present, but you have not mentioned any dimension about the soul. And the second part is, so if you could give more about the soul dimensions, and because it's something which Dr. T.D. Singh has already done. He's already given a name to the soul, and the dimensions are very clear in Bhagavad Gita. And you said this Sankhya is also having parts of Bhagavad Gita. So, but how come that part is not there? That's what I want to know.
The soul, I mentioned the soul. Soul is all sentient life. So the Purusha is the soul. You saw this number. The Purusha is transforming itself to the Mahad, and the smallest interactive value of the soul is Moolaprakriti's value. So you have Purusha is a tamastic form, and Moolaprakriti's smallest value is Moolaprakriti, that cover the sattvic spectrum. So Purusha is the motivation from the very beginning to the end of every manifestational form, and it is Moolaprakriti is in between every vibration with the value of 10 on minus 51. That's imaginably small value that is in between every interaction. So Purusha through Mahad transform itself to the nature to allow souls to express and feel the infinite diversity of the oneness that is behind Purusha, and the space that is infinite. So we as a soul has all the same body as a part of that one wholeness. And Bhagavad Gita, the Krishna said that he is Muni Kapilla, who is embodiment to bring Sankhya to humanity. And he also said, I'm not sure, in the fourth chapter, that he said that knowledge in according to Sankhya, and then I will say this in according to the yoga. So the yoga, Gita and Sankhya is the same thing.
Thank you. I just wanted to add a comment here. As I said, Dr. T.D. Singh has coined the term spiriton. So he has coined the term spiriton for the soul. So this is information, something else.
Yeah, there are many different names from the same reality, you know. You can say Krishna, God, many different names for the one and universal. Everything is true, and there is just a question of bringing it together and simplify that, not to so many names to do a mess, just to clarify and to bring it together for a one picture.
Thank you. Any other question in the audience? Everything? Oh, we have one question here. So maybe you can share your name, background, if you like.
Yes. My name is Gerhard and I'm an engineer. All these many details create in my head kind of an information overflow.
Yeah, I know.
So I have a practical question. Is there anything which I personally can apply from all that what I've learned here in life? And especially then you mentioned on the last foil, there is proof there is clean energy in abundance and highest efficiency, I think you said. This is all known since thousands of years. Why don't we have clean energy machines?
There are many questions. It is a self-similar scale invariance law. So when you know the law, when you know that law, you can apply on the all levels. So we use as a civilization energy as fossil fuels. We burn the wood to get energy. We burn the crude oil to get energy. But to know the advantage to know the law is to make a machine how to create energy, how to multiplicate energy. And that's the greatest of the Sankhya. I know that I assumed so many things in a short lecture, and I passed through them very fast, but there is a huge potential in that knowledge. I can share with all of you the calculations and the numbers from the Sankhya to see all those numbers. So there are 10 on 96th density of simultaneous interaction in every point of space that we as a civilization should know how to use and make a clean energy. The other part of that story is how to make a crucial maze and to the countries and politicians to be able to implement such technology in practice. So if someone invent that technologies, there will be many enemies because many companies will go bankrupt. So that's the second part of the story.
Thank you.
Okay. Another question? No? So we will be able to welcome our next lecturer. We also welcome the